visit here in Israel again. Well, Tracy, as you said, the door is opened and the Prime Minister expected to step down those stairs onto the red carpet and begin his 3-day visit here in Israel. Again, highly anticipated, historic, really a special moment for this country. And here he is, Prime Minister of India.
Now we're hearing the sounds of that military honor guard, which is a regular process when a minister or a head of government lands here in Israel. He'll make his way down the stairs there, be meted by that military honor guard, as well as by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
And the ambassador of India next to him.
Absolutely. And they'll make their way down, and then we'll no doubt hear some brief addresses from those leaders. We understand that after this landing ceremony, Modi will head to Yad Vashem, Israel's Holocaust Museum. He has an extraordinarily packed schedule over the next 3 days. And to you, were there any standout, things on his schedule to you? Anything that stood out to your mind that you wouldn't have expected from the Indian Prime Minister during his visit?
I wouldn't say that there is something which is special that I wouldn't anticipate. When he came to New York, he took Madison Square Garden, and they called it for a day Madison Square Garden.
Right.
And they gathered the entire Indian community in this special hall. So same he is doing tomorrow in the convention center in Tel Aviv, where the entire Indian Jews and Indians that live in Israel will come and gather them for his talk to them. I hope that it will be in English and not in Hindi, but tomorrow we'll know.
We understand that he's also paying a visit to a desalination plant at the Israel Museum. What's the interest there for an Indian Prime Minister?
First, desalination is a must. India suffers from lack of water. I've been last week in Bombay, and it was pouring. It's monsoon season now, but they are not able to collect the water. They are not able to transfer the water. They are not able to treat the water. So the desalination is definitely a good technology that India needs, whether on the sea or from industry. And many Israeli companies like IDE, TAL, and so on are working in India to bring water to the people.
Mm-hmm. How much of a problem, I suppose, is terror for India in terms of, we know that Israel Benjamin Netanyahu has drawn parallels between the threat that Hamas poses to Israel and the threats that are posed to India.
The threat to India
There he is, sorry to cut you off on that, just as you started to speak. We're seeing Narendra Modi at the top of the stairs, hands together as is customary in Indian culture. Namaste, absolutely. Making his way down the stairs. Our senior international affairs correspondent, Owen Alterman, is on the ground. Owen, what can you tell us?
Well, as you said, the Prime Minister stepping off the plane, being greeted by Prime Minister Netanyahu and by other Israeli dignitaries. They are about to speak, as you mentioned. We'll hear the national anthems of the two countries from the army band, and then the two leaders will speak from the podium, give their introductory remarks to kick off this visit. Again, a very, very special visit, a historic one, and we'll no doubt hear from the two leaders about how they see this important relationship, which is each is marked really as a priority. Narendra Modi marking this as a priority for India and India's modernization. We just heard from our guest how important water technology is to India. You know, Tracy, a lot of focus here in Israel on the defense relationship with India, which is no doubt important. But for Indians, it's the water and agriculture that is no less important than defense. And for Benjamin Netanyahu, we've talked about how important this is. We're about to hear the national anthems.
national anthems both of India and Israel as Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi landed in Israel, the first Indian head of government to land in Israel. Now, of course, this visit comes as the two countries mark 25 years of diplomatic relations this year. Now, senior international affairs correspondent Owen Alterman is there on the ground at Ben Gurion Airport for us. Owen, as Modi landed, we saw his iconic bear hug, him and Benjamin Netanyahu embracing.
The two national anthems were played. We now hear from the army band as well as the leaders make their way down the red carpet to the podium, where we expect to hear from each of them. Again, each of these leaders putting a premium and a priority of this bilateral relationship. Each of them sees it as very, very important to his country. From the Israeli perspective, there's no question that this is a big moment for Prime Minister Netanyahu, who likes to talk about Israel's place in the world, likes to talk about how Israel is not isolated in the world. And what better proof of that than the pictures that we are seeing in front of our eyes? The Prime Minister of India, one of the world's largest economies, one of the world's largest countries, coming here to honor the state of Israel with a visit. And of course, very, very important visit for India as well. At least that's the way Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi sees it. Tracy.
Now, Owen, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but what we saw from the visuals coming through our screen here is the iconic bear hug that Narendra Modi is now famous for, him and Benjamin Netanyahu embracing. We remember Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu had a very fond handshake when he arrived. How can we compare the relationship here, or the meaning of this visit, and how different it is, or how important it is compared to the visit perhaps of the United States President?
Well, yes, he's famous for that bear hug. We saw him give it to Donald Trump. We saw him give it to Emmanuel Macron. Now Benjamin Netanyahu joins the list. But again, Narendra Modi in India seeing Israel as an important partner, and as Israel's head of government is an important partner and part of that relationship. And again, they're walking down and they will make their way to the podium and speak. Again, a very, very important moment for these two countries and a packed 3-day visit. But Tracy, more than any particular stop on that visit or any particular concrete achievement, it is the symbolism that matters here. And the fact that this visit is happening, that is so very important.
Certainly. I just want to introduce another guest we have in studio with us as we wait for the leaders to address the media and to address the public. Padmaja Ruparel, the co-founder of IAN, Israel's largest angel network, still with us in studio. Another person for Israel-India Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for being with us, Padmaja. Thank you. Talk us through the relationship here, the economic relationship between Israel and India. I asked Anat before, who wins in this relationship, or is it an equal share?
So I think, here is a country which is two countries which are absolutely complementary. I think Israel is one of the most innovative countries. You've created something so unique in the middle of all your neighbors.